that basically defined your life. Mariah's father, Alfred Roy Carey, was of African-American and Venezuelan descent and grew up in New York. Mariah's mother, Patricia, is an Irish-American from Illinois. Alfred and Patricia married in 1960. Alfred was an aeronautical engineer. Patricia was an opera singer and vocal coach. Together, they had 3 children, the youngest, Mariah, and her 2 older siblings, Allison and Morgan. Alfred and Patricia divorced when Mariah was just 3 years old. You grew up in a house where you're constantly afraid, and you were able to figure out, literally as a little kid, sense when the violence was coming, right?
Yeah, that was a thing, and it's described, through the kind of the feeling of when it's a storm that's about to happen, and it's weather, and it's, you know what I mean? It's a scary thing, but you sense it, and you learn to navigate your behavior because of it.
And when you've been traumatized your whole life, you raised in a family of chaos. Can you just sort of summarize? You had a brother who was enraged.
Extremely violent, yes.
And unpredictably so. So the thing when you're living in an environment where you don't know where it's going to come from, you're always constantly walking on eggshells in a state of anxiety yourself. And a sister who, I don't know, how would you describe your sister?
I would say troubled. I would say traumatized. And I try to be thoughtful about that. Although I don't know that the same courtesy has been extended to me from anybody that that caused certain traumatic events in my life.
But you write at length in the Meaning of Mariah about your brother and sister, and one of the things that you say, there's too much to try to cover here. That's why there's a whole book. We're not going to get it in an interview, but I'll read this short passage. You say, through the years, both my sister and brother have put me on the chopping block. Sold lies to any gossip rag or trashy website that would buy or listen. They have attacked me for decades, you write. And you say, but when I was 12 years old, my sister, this was a story, my sister drugged me with Valium, offered me a pinky nail full of cocaine, inflicted me with third-degree burns, and tried to sell me out to a pimp. And now you know that there was a lot of pain going on with them also. What do you think was the source of their pain?
We don't even really know each other. And that's the thing, when they were out there and telling and selling stories, I'm like, but you guys, we didn't grow up together, but we did. Like, they were on their journeys. By the time I got into the world, they had already been damaged, in my opinion. But again, I wasn't there. I was dropped into this world, and I said, I literally felt like an outsider amongst my own family because of the way that...
They resented you because of the color of your skin, right? Because they were also biracial, but you were lighter, and they felt like you were passing.
I think they definitely always felt like I was passing. We're not even that far apart totally. Like, that's my thing. They just grew up with the experience of living with a black father and a white mother together as a family, and I was, for the most part, living with my mother, which they saw as easier, but in reality, it was not. To them, it was easier, and I think, there's many reasons why, but they have always thought that my life was easy, but they also always looked for I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like a get-rich-quick scheme, or like, what can we do for today, or like the world owes me something.
I've been having a lot of conversations on Apple TV+.